Hi everyone, I'm back today to introduce you to another one of our fantastic presenters for the summit. So today I'm going to be introducing you to Brenda Mccartney, who is the Director and Senior Health Coach at Lean Co. And she has done or is going to be doing an amazing presentation with her daughter talking about all things PCOS. Now, Brenda, I actually met with her daughter. We were at the Low Carb Down Under conference in September. I think it was September, October last year. And we were sitting at the airport together. And I think one of us overheard each other have a conversation about low carb. And of course, oh, were you at the conference? Were you at the conference? And we were there and we both just started chatting and, have stayed connected ever since. And I'm so grateful that, Brenda has said that she would be included in the summit. So I'm going to bring her in now so I can stop talking and you can meet her. And here we go. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Tracy. Hi.
So welcome. And
Thank
do you want
you.
to start by introducing yourself to everyone and telling them just a little bit about you?
Certainly. My name's Brenda Mccartney. I have a background in nursing, in physical rehabilitation. I owned my own gym for quite a long time. I've been a personal trainer for a long time. I also, my husband and I had a bit of a tree change. We moved to the Blue Mountains in New South Wales, gorgeous spot on acreage, and ran a yoga retreat. So I feel as though I've done the full gamut from high intensity training to now yoga and Pilates. That's what I teach now online and in studios. When we're allowed to go back into the studios, I'll be the first one there. But my passion now, of course, is PCOS because my daughter was diagnosed with the disease. She hates me calling it a disease, and if she was here today, she would throw a pillow at me. So perhaps disorder is kind of what she prefers because, as she says, Mum, I'm not sick. But that's how she feels about it. From my perspective, she is sick and she does need treatment. So I just went down the rabbit hole probably 12 years ago now to try and fix my baby. And I have been probably in the low carb space now with her for 10 years. But prior to Tess being diagnosed, I was actually dabbling with my diet way back then because I'd done the whole yogi thing and done the vegan experience for well, it was, you almost felt as if to be legitimately in the yoga space, you needed to be a vegan. So, loving animals, the earth, the whole, thing. So that's what I did. And I've got to say that probably 3.5 years down the track, I was really unwell. I had lots of gastrointestinal system sort of failure. I had constant esophageal reflux, which was a really big deal for me teaching yoga because I would always be in down dog, with stomach contents running up the back of my throat, which is not a nice place to be. I was constantly bloated, which is really challenging when you are an activewear professionally on a daily basis. So I was already starting to get a little bit concerned about whether the vegan experience was actually suiting me. So I went to get checked out and actually had lots of issues, not only gastrointestinal, but I was quite anemic as well. So that was the start of me probably ditching that lifestyle and moving into a more paleo approach, which was obviously a little bit lower in carbohydrate because I had studied the fact that people who were low carb were getting less of those problems. So I was really happy to adapt that. And of course, being the control freak that I am, my whole family had to come on board. So we were all low carb, and I definitely improved out of sight. So there was no way I was going back to eating masses of grain and vegetables. And then, you know, Tessa's problems really sort of started to be a real hindrance to her high school lifestyle. So we investigated all of that, and here we are now, really looking seriously at what I call the elephant in our lounge room, which is definitely insulin resistance. So I have been tested. I don't have insulin resistance, luckily, but on her dad's side of the family, it's definitely there in a big way. And as well as having the insulin resistance, of course, she has all the other associated problems that come with polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I have really spent a lot of my time researching this, and really feel now that it's time that it came out into the low carb space once and for all. 80% of the population with polycystic ovarian syndrome, they have insulin resistance. They have a lot of other things as well, but I think this is the big one for them, and we kind of need to address it. And it's not easy, especially with the younger female population.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, there's still such a big misconception out there that there isn't a cure. And you know, I mean, personally, I've had a couple of clients who have reversed their PCOS, and, you know, they no longer have signs on it just from changing to a low carb lifestyle. And one was told she would never be able to get pregnant, and she has about 6 months ago given birth to a first child. And, you know, I think we can't not share what we've seen and share the hope that is available to people with this condition, because it's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And I hope, you know, the viewers really get on board, and perhaps invite anyone that they know that might have PCOS. Obviously, Tess is only 26, so she's not really thinking about her fertility as paramount at the moment, but just getting her insulin down and trying to lose some weight is her primary focus at the moment. And she's struggling with it, I have to say, even in the low carb space. So in the last probably 2 months, with the help of her low carb GP, she's pretty much been animal based or carnivore, which has helped an awful lot with her insulin, and has helped a lot with her autoimmune, because Tess has Hashimoto's as well. So that's something I think that could be interesting moving forward. Not that she loves it by any stretch of the imagination. Like, it's completely foreign to her. But I've got to say, I love it. So it works. It really works for me.
The ex-vegan, now a carnivore. So the interesting thing about that is that, and this is one of the things I talk about a lot, you know, we associate certain things with certain reactions. Like you were talking about being in the yoga space, is like, you know, you just kind of felt that you had to be vegan because that was a big part of that sort of whole philosophy. And, you know, one of the things I encourage my clients to do is to unravel all of that. You know, they're all just made up rules. There is no rules. There is no, you know, exact way to behave. And I think when we see that we can unravel a lot of that, we can actually open up a whole lot of space for a whole lot of new stuff. And, you know, I just find that amazing, from vegan to carnivore, because, well, it's polar opposites, yeah.
Yeah, it is a big one. But what you have to understand is that your body is your temple, and you have to feel the best that you possibly can. And if, as a yogi, eating mainly meat is what works for me, then that's the way I'm going to go, you know. And I do feel a little bit under threat, I've got to say, because there's obviously, now that we're all online, a group of those who practice that yoga philosophy that actually don't take me seriously because I don't comply. But that doesn't mean that spiritually I'm less in the space, you know. So it's kind of interesting. But I'll be kicking and screaming. I'm going to maintain this. I'm determined.
Yes, good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So a little bit, obviously we know why you're very passionate about, low carb. You've kind of covered that there, but a little bit of a snapshot about your presentation. Yes, it's around PCOS, but it's one of the only presentations that I have. We have two presenters, which is yourself and your daughter presenting together, which is very unique, but is so important because, as we were talking about before we started recording, living with this is very different to intellectually understanding it. So to have someone share from a very personal experience is very powerful.
Yeah, and I think it just, for Tess being there with me, she really had to be very vulnerable because she has found this whole process really difficult, but it was really in coming together and doing our presentation for this fabulous virtual conference that we had some watershed moments. It was quite cathartic. She actually had to own the whole gamut of signs, symptoms, and the emotion that's involved in being a female who is, number one, overweight, number two, hairy, number three, with acne, number four, with no energy. And what I think is the most important thing, but what she completely ignores, is she's an absolutely gorgeous person. She is absolutely beautiful. She is so sweet-natured, and she brings this empathy to, I think, this disorder. And it's all very well for me to talk about it and to talk about the biochemistry, to talk about the pathology, but she talks about the psychology of what happens when it doesn't work, Tracy. And it's so difficult when you're on the internet constantly, like these girls are, and you see that they've lost, 50 kilos in a year. And why is that not happening for you? What are you doing wrong? And just getting that appreciation that we're all different. Everybody is responding differently. It's a journey, and you just have to keep at it and keep chipping away and being your own detective, asking for help when you need it, and trying to, I think, encourage others to join your tribe so that you've got someone to lean on when you need to, besides your mother.
Yeah. Oh, you sound amazing. She's lucky that she's got you, and I'm sure reverse is the same as well. And that's a really big thing. As women, we forget very easily that we are not our bodies, that who we are goes way, way, way beyond that. And it's a message that I'm very passionate about getting out there as well. So thank you, for sharing all of that. And yes, I think it's going to be amazing, and just to, for you guys to be a part of it is awesome. Can I finish with one last question for you, which I get asked this question a lot, is particularly, I guess, people who are curious, and unfortunately low carb does get a pretty bad rap in the media, and it's not necessarily accurately represented. So a lot of people get the wrong impression and think that it is a diet and it's not sustainable. So can I just get your thoughts on whether low carb is sustainable or not?
Low carb is not sustainable. You have got to be joking. That is how I see it. For me, number one, shopping is easier. Number two, food prep is easier. Number three, the food is so much more delicious. And number four, you feel good. One of the most important things I think Tess sheds light on is that it is a lot easier to eat this kind of food and be satiated and not be hungry all the time. I think that's probably the most important thing for her. For me, I just love it. I'm kind of 4.5 years keto now and keto carnivore, and there's no way that I wouldn't eat like this. What I love about the current COVID is all the food that we want to eat, there's bucket loads of it in the supermarket. They can take all the pasta, they can take all the rice, they can take all the tomato sauce they want to, they can take all the flour. Just leave me some meat and some green veggies and I'm perfectly happy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to chatting with me today and introducing yourself to everybody. And we will see you on the 29th of May.
And thanks, Tracy.
Summit.
So good of you to do this. Amazing.
Oh, you're welcome. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
Fantastic.
Thanks, darling.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.